What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 120 of the Axis of Combat podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next, joined by my co-host.
It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna. On today's episode, we're going back to the Apex to cover UFC 110 Onama versus Garcia. And on the boxing end, we got Spencer versus Mayer. But before we get into any of that, my brother, please, like always, tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
First fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the debuting Donte Johnson going one-on-one with Sedriques Dumas. Lockjaw, Johnson is perfect, 6-0. Fighting out of Wisconsin, 26 years old, the Reaper, Dumas is 10-3 overall. Fighting out of Pensacola, Florida, 30 years old. Now, normally when I, pick a fight, I usually try not to lean on the guy who's, making his debut, fresh out the water, into the UFC, what about UFC jitters, all that stuff, right? He's going against a UFC vet. That's a general rule of thumb for me, something I like to follow. But in this particular instance, I'm not following my own rules. Give me Donte Johnson here for the win. And now you might ask, Ray, why? Why not pick Dumas? He's got the UFC experience. He's got the height and reach advantage. Why pick this rookie? Why pick this, this newcomer? Let me tell you why. Donte Johnson is a bad motherfucker. The guy's got power in both hands. Don't let the dimensions fool you. He used to fight at heavyweight. Johnson's got high school wrestling. He's also got college wrestling. He also used to be a college football player. The guy's athletic. The guy's dynamic. I love the guy's fight style. He walks forward. He's very aggressive. Dumas, not comfortable with people who walk him down. Look at the Lord Michael Olenjashik fight. I think he's going to walk this man down. He's going to walk him down to hell. He's going to beat the shit out of him. And maybe we get to see some of that wrestling. Give me Donte Johnson. Even though he's the greener guy, he's the guy I like.
Yeah, Donte Johnson has a good chance of making Dumas look like the early version of Dontel Mays. You know what I'm saying? Like, Donte gonna make him look like Dontel. You know what I'm saying?
Don't tell on Dontel. Bars.
And all I'm saying is Dumas has Dontel tendencies. He's a guy that when the going gets tough, he looks for the door. Doesn't like pressure. Doesn't do well with guys who pressure him. This is a guy who's gonna walk him down. He's gonna be bigger. Probably hits harder since he's coming down from heavyweight. Dumas, I feel like this is a bad matchup for him. I feel like the UFC is about to give him his walking papers, ladies and gentlemen. I think this may be the last time we see Dumas. And it's on the UFC Apex card so they could, take out the garbage in the back door, quietly, efficiently.
They doing them in, bro.
Yeah. That's just me, though.
The Dumas experience is over.
I think it's over.
Yeah.
This guy can't stay out of trouble out the cage, and he keeps getting into trouble in the cage, and then he gets into trouble leading up to the actual cage fight. Can't make weight, has to get his ankle monitor removed, getting arrested, doing a whole bunch of dumb shit. I think the UFC experiment's over, man, and I think they're giving him his walking papers this upcoming Saturday. So give me Donte Johnson to get this guy out of there. I'll say first, second round stoppage.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Chuck Buffalo Charles Radtke going one-on-one with Daniel Frunza. Radtke is 10-5 overall, fighting out of Salem, Wisconsin, 35 years old. Frunza, 9-3 overall, repping Romania, but fighting out of Italy, 31 years old. This is going to be a banger. It's not going to go long. I don't think it's going to last that long. A play that I already kind of got circled is the unders, not to go the distance. Fight ends in KO. But I'm going to be leaning Charles Radtke. And for a couple reasons. One, UFC experience. Two, I think he's got the wrestling edge here. Daniel is probably the better striker on paper. And no, not even on paper. I think he probably is just the better striker overall. A little more dynamic, uses his kicks in all sorts of arrays of ways. Hits hard, walks forward, but can be hit. Now, Radtke can also be hit. But Radtke can wrestle. Frunza cannot stop a takedown. Radtke hasn't wrestled since Blood Diamond, but it's there. And it's there for him to utilize. It's there for him to take advantage of in this particular matchup. I don't trust either one of these guys' chins. That's why I like the unders. But I think Radtke with the wrestling should get it done. That's going to be my pick.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I'm on Radtke just for the experience and wrestling upside, but man, this fight can go either way. It's lined pretty much as a pick 'em on most books right now. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Somebody's chin is too thin. That's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bars.
Bookmark that one. But no, I'm with you. I think that Charles should win this fight, but if he gets lammed here, I'm not going to be surprised. Unders are the play here, but I'll lean Charles Radtke for podcast sakes, just not with a high degree of confidence.
Next fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have the problem child, Talita Alencar, going one-on-one with Ariane Carnelossi. Alencar is 6-1-1 overall, fighting out of Deerfield Beach, Florida, but repping Brazil, 35 years old. Carnelossi, 15-3 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. Now, this particular matchup, when I seen it, kind of had me a little bit perplexed because Alencar, I mean, she's okay. I mean, in the jiu-jitsu world, she's a stud. 4-time, 5-time champ, I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that number. Was recently watching her fight. What's that girl's name? Fiona. She ended up getting on her back and submitting her. So, I mean, if you got any kind of questions about Alencar's jiu-jitsu, no worries. She's very good on the ground. But Alencar's striking it's terrible.
Horrible.
And her entries, they need a little work.
Get the fuck out.
Carnelossi, listen, she can't defend a takedown. On paper, she probably loses this fight, but Carnelossi is built like a fire hydrant, walks forward, throws punches and bunches, and I think she's pretty decent in the jiu-jitsu realm as well. She really hasn't had to really test it out, and she really hasn't gone to it in the UFC level, but I don't think she's going to struggle that much with Alencar here. If Carnelossi's got 2 brain cells, she knows that Alencar is going to want this fight on the ground. Carnelossi's goal and, you know, objective for this fight is to keep it standing and beat her up. Like, Alencar, I mean, she's tough, but she don't wear damage well. She reacts terribly to punches. This one's weird because I feel like people are going to be picking Alencar by sub, but I struggle to see how she's going to get there with ease. Carnelossi has only really lost to, like, you know, decent fighters in the UFC. Give me Carnelossi here. I think I'm going for the upset. I don't know what the odds are. I'm assuming Carnelossi is going to be the dog. I just think Carnelossi bullies this woman. I think she bullies her and beats her up. Alencar is very good at jiu-jitsu, but this is MMA at the end of the day. And I'm not too high on Carnelossi as an MMA fighter, but I think she's the more well-rounded fighter here. So give me Carnelossi for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just based on the straight for competition, too, Carnelossi has only lost to Lupita and Angela Hill, and those are ranked fighters. She's the first woman I've ever seen get cut off of getting headbutted in her last fight. She won that fight, you know, via DQ, but
oh man,
essentially
she put on her best active performance for that one.
But now she's back, and now she's fighting a girl that I think is undersized for the weight class. This girl is tiny. Talita. If there was a 105, I think she'd be elite, but she's 5'1".
Honestly, even Carnelossi is a little small for the weight class, and yeah, Alencar's smaller.
But she's so wide, that like she makes up for it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes not about the length, sometimes about the girth. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
So
got him.
But, you know,
bars. Hey yo.
Well, I'm just saying, you know. But if you look at it, I'm with my brother here. I think even though Carnelossi's wrestling takedown defense is
yeah,
I think Talita's gonna have a very hard time controlling this girl for multiple minutes at a time. She's not a novice with the jiu-jitsu. And she's physically just way better, you know, way bigger than her.
And I also trust Carnelossi's cardio more. I mean, listen, yes. I'm ready for this this take to age like milk. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I can see Carnelossi with no brain cells, you know, just getting caught for some reason. But if she fights with a game plan here, I think she's got this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that's why we'll preface all this by saying not with a high degree of confidence. Just because Carnelossi has shown the propensity to be stupid, like, no pun intended, in some of her fights. Like, there's a lot of things she could have done better that she just got away from. She doesn't know how to fight to her own strength sometimes. It's weird, but that's why it's not with a high degree of confidence. But I'm with my brother here. I'm going to roll the dice on the girl that does not have a great fight IQ as a pick here, but don't know if I'm going to get around to betting it. But Carnelossi is the official lean for the podcast.
Next fight on the card at men's light heavyweight, we have Kevin Christian going one-on-one with Billy Elekana. Kevin is 9-2 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. Elekana is 8-2 overall, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 30 years old. Now, I hate this fight for all the wrong reasons, or maybe all the right reasons. I don't know. Let me preface this by saying that this Apex card is not that good. I mean,
we should have let off with that.
we probably should have let off with that. This fight is not even good for this card standards. I think this fight should be like on the LFA or something like that. We got Kevin Christian here, who on paper is a fucking giant. The guy is 6'7". He's got an 80-inch reach. He's going to tower over Billy Elekana in this particular matchup. Now, if you dig deeper into Kevin's, history, into his record, there's a 4-year gap. It's a reasonable gap. It was because, it was COVID. The guy's also, I think, a civil engineer. I don't know how much heart Kevin Christian's gonna have in this fight, like how much he really wants to be an MMA fighter or a UFC fighter. But I mean, he did come up through the Contender Series. He did make his way in. He's got nasty jiu-jitsu on the ground. He's got like 4 or 5 like arm triangles. The striking, terrible. For a big guy, doesn't really know how to use the distance correctly. But unorthodox striker, and surprisingly more accurate than people are willing to give him credit for. Then we got Elekana on the other hand, the guy who stepped in short notice, didn't come through Dana White Contender Series, stepped in short notice to fight Bogdan. He admitted he had one plan in there, there was no camp. He was gonna go in there, just, try to do what he had to do. And, it didn't work out for him. He kind of, I don't want to say he quit in there, but at one point, Bogdan was just like putting it on him. And Bogdan just like mercy killed him with a headlock. Bogdan got his first submission because of Billy Elekana. Billy Elekana's second fight, he fights against Ibo Aslan. He's like, yeah, Ibo's, he's like a bull in a china shop. He's going to walk forward. I'm going to get to use my wrestling and, really put it on display. That fight was a 15-minute staring contest with a total amount of punches of maybe sitting around 20 combined. Terrible. There's 2 fights now where he had a plan A. Plan A didn't work. It didn't have a plan B. Christian, on the other hand, like awkward fighter. I trust his finishing instincts a little more. I don't know. This is a 50-50 fight. Give me Kevin Christian for the upset. I know a lot of people are going to be on Billy. I might sound crazy. This one might age like milk. I think I'm going to take the big guy to do some weird shit in a low-level fight where I think somebody gets memed or it goes to decision in some terrible, boring fight. But again, ready for it to age like milk because Billy is probably the side and I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, this is a fight that I wouldn't highly recommend taking a side on. I feel like, to my brother's point, this is a very low-level contest. I'm going to lean Elekana just because of the UFC experience and just because I trust his process a little better, but he hasn't shown me much either. I'll keep it simple. I'm leaning Elekana just for that, and I think we could just move on to the next fight. I'm with my brother. I think this is one of those takes that can definitely age badly. I don't have a high degree of confidence like my brother, so I'm just going to leave it at that and just move on. Move on. Carry on with my life.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Twilight Timmy Cuamba going one-on-one with Chang Ho Lee. Cuamba, 9-3 overall. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 26 years old. Lee, 11-1 overall. Fighting in South Korea, repping South Korea, 31 years old. Now, breaking this particular fight down, Chang Ho Lee's got the advantage on paper. He calls himself the Khabib of South Korea. He wants to model his game off of Marab. The striking, very lackluster, but he's got decent size for the division. He's very aggressive, and on paper, he should win this particular matchup, but Timmy Cuamba, a guy who I'm not really too high on either, has been kind of proving me wrong, has been kind of showing me more layers to his game. I think he's the better MMA fighter. I think when it comes to the striking, he has the clear advantage. I think this fight's going to be boring. I think Cuamba is going to use his footwork to circle, make it hard for Chang Ho Lee to grapple. And I think Kwamba's got decent enough takedown defense, particularly against the cage, where Chang Ho Lee's got to really, show a layer that he hasn't shown to really, put a dent in Kwamba's game plan, or at least perceived game plan. That's the kind of the way I see this fight playing out. Give me Cuamba here for the win. I think he wins by decision. I think it's going to be a boring fight because I just think he's going to circle, and, could just stick and move.
Yeah, I'm there too. I think Cuamba has enough takedown defense to deal with Ho Lee's. Sorry, holy. Oh, man. Holy. Yeah, I think he has good enough takedown defense to mitigate a lot of Chang's plans in this fight. Kwamba's a better striker, in my opinion. I think he's going to be able to put it all together a little better. Give me Cuamba as well. I think Cuamba should be able to get his game plan going, input his own wrestling when he wants to, and then be able to keep him on the outside and effectively land the jab.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have the Midwest Chopper, Isaac Dulgarian, going one-on-one with the Cuban Problem, Yadier de Valle. Dulgarian is 7-1 overall. Fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, 29 years old. Valle is perfect, 9-0. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, but repping Cuamba, 29 years old. Banger of a fight. I think this is probably maybe one of the most exciting fights on this card. They got two prospects here lined up to see, you know, hey, which one the UFC is going to end up pushing at the end of the day. I think they want to see what they got in both gentlemen here. Dulgarian has only got one loss. That loss came to C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez, aka the prospect killer himself. We know what Dulgarian wants to do. He's a very high-level grappler, very good top game, pause, very good control, very aggressive, will seek finishes. On the other side, we got the Valle here, who is a very good striker, very good prospect in his own right. Solid grappling. Valle looks like a bigger man. He's, you know, solid. He looks like he cuts a ton of weight just to make this particular weight class. I'm going to be leaning Valle here for the upset. I mean, I'm not sure if he's the favorite or not. I know Dulgarian, I mean, it's a little crazy to pick against a guy who's got insane wrestling, but I think Valle is the overall better MMA fighter. I think he's got more skills on the feet. I mean, I guess it's unfair to say that he has more skills on the feet because Dulgarian really hasn't had to put his striking really much on display. You know, he's so proficient at getting guys down and fucking them up that he don't really got to stand up and strike. He might have to here with Valle. I'm going to lean Valle purely based on the fact that I think he can, you know, mitigate or at least, you know, keep pace with Dulgarian shit on the ground until Dulgarian starts to slow down a bit. And I think Valle is going to be able to put out offense. I think this fight is going to go to distance either way. I don't think anybody finishes anybody, but give me the Cuban Problem for the upset. If it's the upset, don't know. I haven't looked at the odds, but I don't like looking at the odds because, you know, they influence the way I think. And I like to make the picks first. Yeah,
good call on not looking at the odds, and I'm going to give you the odds, you know, now that you made the pick. They have Dulgarian listed as a minus 188 favorite. A little too steep in terms of like the line and the value, to be frank with you. I think that Val at plus 146 is more than live in this fight. And, you know, I wanted to hit that dog so bad when you were saying the Val, but I wanted you to get through your process first before, you know, I let you know who was the dog. But yeah, I'm with you here. I think the Val is underrated a little bit because we haven't seen him put on display yet. I think Dulgarian might be a little overhyped, just a tiny bit. Not. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, but I do think there are going to be stylistic clashes that are going to give him a lot of trouble. This is one of those fights. I think Delval puts his punches together better on the feet. I think Delval can match his wrestling. I think Delval is going to be physically bigger, even though, listen, Dulgarian is pretty jacked too, but he's more built like a hamster, where this guy's built more like a buffalo. So for me, I think Delval should be able to get this done, to be frank. Wouldn't be surprised at Dulgarian. I just can't get behind the line at minus 188, to be frank with you. I think that the obvious value is on Delval as a dog here. So give me Delval at the dog play for the podcast, and that's the official lean that we're going with.
Next fight on the card at women's bantamweight, we have Ketlen Vieira going one-on-one with Norma Dumont. Ketlen is 15-4 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Dumont is 12-2 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 35 years old. This particular card is devoid of any ranked fighters, so I'm surprised that the ranked fighters that they do have are kind of stuck in the middle of the prelims here. This feels like a fight that probably should be a little higher on the card, in my opinion. I'm going to be picking Norma Dumont for the win here. She's got a path here. It's the wrestling. Ketlen Vieira, she's a bad woman. I mean, don't get it twisted, don't get it fucked up. She's lost to legit people. She's a very powerful striker, but we know her deficiencies. She can't defend a takedown. She can't really get off her back is probably the real deficiency. And Norma Dumont, more well-rounded, knows how to get takedowns, will be getting takedowns in this one. A decent striker in her own right. I think Norma Dumont gets this one done, but I think this fight goes the distance either way. Give me Norma Dumont by decision.
Yeah, and that's exactly why this is the prelim main event and not on the main card, because this fight is probably going to be a snooze fest. Respectfully, I agree with my brother. I think considering the card, it should probably be on the main card, considering the stakes and everything with the division. But the reason why if it doesn't move up to the main card and stays at the prelim main event, it's because the fight's going to be fucking boring. I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm with my brother here. I trust Norma's fight IQ a little better. I trust her wrestling a little better. She can grapple too. She's not a novice on the floor. She's big. She's coming down essentially from 145. She's fought as high as 155. She's boring, but she knows what she's doing in there. I expect her to be able to control Ketlen for multiple minutes at a time against the cage as well as on the floor when she gets to there. And I can also see a world where Vieira will jump guard, so just because she gets frustrated and then just loses more minutes on the floor against this girl. So there is a path for Ketlen here with the power that she has in her hands, but Norma can take a shot. She's only been knocked out by Megan Anderson, and that was because she walked into the shot. Norma's not walking into anything these days, but she's become essentially a wrestling grapple merchant. Give me Norma Dumont to win the minutes on the cage, win the minutes on the floor, and to get this done via decision.
Next fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have Montserrat Conejo Ruiz going one-on-one with Alice Ardelean. Ruiz is 10-4 overall. Fighting out of El Paso, Texas, but repping Mexico, 32 years old. Ardelean is 10-7 overall. Fighting out of England, but repping Romania, 33 years old. Another, low-end, low-level women's MMA fight. But this is going to be Ardelean for me. I'm picking Ardelean for the win. Probably by decision. She should be able to get Ruiz out, but this fight just basically boils down to, size does matter, bitch, essentially. Scott Steiner voice. Alice is a dog. She's one of those women that she's going to walk forward on you. She's always going to throw volume. She will get takedowns. You punch her in the face. She looks back at you. She smiles. She wants more. She'll deliver more. Ruiz, she's okay. She's probably going to have, she might be the more technical striker here, but man, she's just undersized. I don't think she's going to have the power to keep Ardelean off of her. And I think once Alice is on top, I don't think Ruiz is going to have an easy time getting up. Give me Alice by decision in a fight that, it probably means something to both of these women, because I think the loser probably gets cut. But to the general audience, this might be it's not the most exciting one. Yeah,
I agree with you entirely. It's not going to be an exciting fight. Well, it could be in certain spurts, but if you're asking me, as soon as Alice puts this girl on her back, it's going to be curtains, to be frank. She could get her out of there late, I agree. Montserrat is just way too small. Another girl, just like Alencar, that if there was a 105 division, an atomweight division, I think they could excel. Alice is just going to be bigger, stronger. She's going to be the better wrestler in there. This is not a fight I have a lot of interest in terms of betting. but I feel like, and I feel like this is a fight that you probably shouldn't be looking forward to putting your hard-earned money on either, because it still is women's MMA and a lot of shit can happen. But with that said, I'm going to lean Alice. I think Alice has enough to get this fight to where she wants it to, and I think she has enough to win the control positions, as well as some of the striking exchanges. So give me Alice for the lean here. I can't get behind the minus 350 line. You could pass on all that shit. It's women's MMA, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the next fight.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have the Fresh Prince, Phil Rowe, going one-on-one with the Korean Tyson, Seong Hong Ko. Rowe, 11-5 overall. Fighting out of Orlando, Florida, 35 years old. Ko, 12-2 overall. Fighting out of South Korea, repping South Korea, 32 years old. An interesting fight. Another fight that, in my opinion, is probably not going to go the distance. I don't think this makes it from bell to bell. Shouldn't go all 15 minutes. I like the unders. I like fight doesn't go. Now, as for a side, I'm going to be picking the Fresh Prince for the win here. Couple of reasons. Listen, the guy's talented. The guy's going to have the height and reach. The guy's a better boxer, in my opinion. Both these guys crack. Ko, very aggressive. Will probably take Rowe down, but Rowe's got jiu-jitsu. Rowe's got length that can, kind of make it hard for one to be taken down, two to be held down.
He got the length that'll make you think.
Bars.
Pause.
The thing that worries me about Rowe is the thing that always worries me in any kind of Phil Rowe fight, and it's the heart. It's the IQ, the decision making. His worst enemy is himself. He beats himself up. If one thing doesn't go right, things like to go downhill from him. So it's one of those things where I like to bet Phil Rowe at dog money, but I'm very cautious in terms of the way I play Phil Rowe, because he's not a guy that you kind of want to be putting, any kind of stock into. Ko, can knock him out. Cole can take him down and beat him up. This is a very winnable fight for both gentlemen. But give me the guy who I think is the more talented guy. And if he's locked in, should be able to get Cole out. So give me Phil Rowe for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I'm with you here on the same side as well. I'm also leaning Phil Rowe. I'm going to lean on him for the talent. I'm also going to lean on him because this is the most active he's been in a while. To be frank with you, I was rewatching some of the Cole footage of some of his previous contests, and I can't believe Oban Elliott lost to this fucking guy. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a bad taste in my mouth because I thought Oban was a lock that night and he got fucking dog walked. Not saying that Oban doesn't have some discrepancies in his game, but this guy has clear discrepancies. Leaves his chin straight up, walks in the center line. Phil does the same shit. This is why I think I like the unders the most in this fight. This fight should not see the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen. Cole is I think he's being a little overvalued because of his last contest. They got him at a minus 200. Not against someone that I think just has all the physical attributes to give him trouble. Cole is going to have a hard time wrestling him down because taking down anyone that's taller than you is a problem. Phil can grapple. Can grapple his ass off, actually, ladies and gentlemen. So, for me, I'm not sure where Cole's going to be safe in this fight. Yeah, sure, could he catch Phil? Yeah, but
100% he can. Phil
leans behind the jab better. Phil actually knows how to catch and shoot off the punches better. He also knows how to slip the punches better. So, for me, it's like, this is dog or pass, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like he can land a good one on him, put him down, hurt him. Then if he keeps moving, he doesn't stop moving, like Jeremy Stevens does when he touches people. He can just get down there and strangle his ass. So for me, I think this is Phil Rowe as a dog shot here. I think this is a dog or pass pot. If Cole was on the other side, I'd say the same thing. Give me the more talented guy, and Phil Rowe is the dog undershot for this the underdog shot for the podcast.
Bars.
So sorry. So dog undershot, I was trying to rap there, so I apologize. But, give me Phil Rowe for the dog shot here.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Waldo Cortes-Acosta, a.k.a. Salsa Boy, going one-on-one with Walking Trouble, Ante Deja. Acosta is 14-2 overall, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, but repping the Dominican Republic, 34 years old. Deja is 26-6 overall, fighting out of Croatia, repping Croatia, 35 years old. Is Acosta probably going to be my pick? I think so. Is that a spicy take? Picking Salsa Boy? It might be. I know he don't got that big of a fan base. I know people don't like his fight style because he will make a fight fucking boring.
Jab merchant.
He is a jab merchant.
He fights correctly though.
But the guy is got a giga durable chin, underrated takedown defense. He's going to be the bigger guy here. He's going to be the younger guy here. I mean, listen, I know people are going to be on Deontay's side. I mean, I think he's probably the better fighter if you're asking me, but he's a little older. Waldo is just going to be able to make this one messy. And I think this fight goes the distance. Give me Acosta for the upset because I'm going to assume he's the dog. Yeah, that's all I got for this one. I mean,
yeah, I'm with you here. I think Waldo, though boring, underrated. I think he has good fight IQ, good chin, all the points that you listed. Ante Deja is probably going to be one of the more faster handed guys he's fought, which is why I think this is a little interesting in terms of the gambling side, but I can't get there. I can't get there for the simple fact that I know Waldo has a better jab than this guy. The only thing that worries me about Deja is that he punches in combination. That's it. But he's got to be able to hurt Waldo too. He's also got to be able to stop Waldo down the stretch of this fight because he's going to be there for the whole fight. Deja's not stopping Waldo in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. I love the overs for this contest. I love this fight to go the distance. If someone gets stopped, I'd be very surprised. Deja has been stopped before, but it was more off of a technicality as opposed to him actually getting starched. The only guy that's really put him away was Bruno Capoloza. And that was Bruno Capoloza when Bruno Capoloza was still Bruno Capoloza.
Bars.
So
if you know, you know.
Yeah, he got subbed a while back. I don't count those because those were years ago, but at an elite level, it's Capoloza. Waldo worries me a little bit in this contest because of his volume. Damn, I feel like I'm talking myself onto Ante here. I really do.
I respect it. I mean, listen, when I seen this fight on paper, I initially went Ante.
Yeah.
I'll just keep it a buck.
Yeah, when you watch the footage, though, the more technical guy is Waldo. I really believe that. Only thing I think that Ante does better than him is punching combination, which can win you the MMA contest. So, for me, listen, I'm going to lean Waldo, but don't be surprised if come fight night, I get to Ante. Just because of the value and just because this may be a fight that I think is dog or pass, for a lot of reasons. So I'm going to lean Waldo, man, but not with a high degree of confidence. I think he should get this done right behind the jab. I really do believe that. But if Ante squeezes this out, I'm not going to be surprised either. So give me Waldo for the lean. Ante is a possible dog play.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have Alan Nacimiento going one-on-one with Rafael Estevam. Nacimiento is 21-6 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Estevam is perfect, 14-0. Also fighting out of Brazil, also repping Brazil, 29 years old. Brazilian on Brazilian violence for this particular matchup here. We got two guys who love to grapple, and it's probably going to be boiling down to the grappling. But I am going to be leaning Estevam for the win. And, you know, I know my brother don't like that. To be honest, I don't even know if I like it or not, because I'm not that big of a fan of Estevam. Just his fight style. I think the guy is a little, you know, I don't want to say overrated, but, you know, I really haven't seen what a lot of people see in Estevam. But the reason why I'm picking Estevam is because, one, I think on the feet, if this fight does stay standing for whatever reason, I think he's the better striker. Now, this fight hits the ground. It's very dangerous because I know Alan, his jiu-jitsu, I trust the guy's jiu-jitsu. I think he's a better jiu-jitsu player than Estevam. I think Estevam is a better control grappler, and I think that's what it's really going to boil down to, in my opinion. I think Estevam is going to be able to take top position on Nacimiento and hold him down. This fight's going to be boring, ladies and gentlemen. Estevam is going to lay on him, beat him up on the ground for 3 rounds. I don't think anybody subs anyone in this particular matchup. I think both guys are high level enough where, you know, it's a little tricky. And I think Estevam squeaks this one out. I can see a split decision, but I see more of a unanimous decision. Give me Estevam for the win in a fight that goes all 15, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this guy. I'm going to be frank with you. I think he's fucking boring. I think he is a lay and pray merchant. He's a crotch sniffer. He is a guy that is not trying to actively finish contests.
Get him.
I'm just being honest. I don't think he's very good. I think he's a little fraud. Doesn't have a good gas tank down the stretch of fights.
Get him.
And doesn't have a ton of finishes on his resume. Not at the elite level. For me, this is a guy, Nacimiento. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to fade Estevam here. But my brother's 100% fucking right. Like, this is a guy who could just lay on Nacimiento. I'm literally going to wait till fight day to make a decision. And the reason being is because I got to see weigh-ins. If Nacimiento comes in and has a clean weight cut, unlike his last contest where he looked like complete horseshit on the scale.
I mean, I think this fight's going to be pretty funny because I think there's a good chance both guys miss weight. I mean, Estevan's already missed weight twice.
Yeah.
So
he can't even do that right. Like his weight, him making weight is more entertaining than his fights now.
That's crazy.
It's fucking, like, I'm just being honest. Like,
get him.
That's why there's a big level of intrigue. Like, you know when Leonardo DiCaprio's trying to sell that guy in the stock on Wolf of Wall Street, high upside. This card can have high upside.
Push your penny
except
stocks.
when you except when you have fuckers like this on the card who are just gonna stall the fight and make it fucking boring. I want to fade him bad here, but my brother's right. He should be able to wrestle Nacimiento down for a minute here, and Nacimiento will be willing to play off his back. The thing is, I was trying to fade Estevam against Bunez, who does not have a good gas tank, but has a tricky guard, to his credit. Nacimiento's better than that guy, and I think Nacimiento's not as good on the feet, but his wrestling's a little better. So this is the most active Nacimiento's been in a while. I'm going to lean Nacimiento, man, but not sure if I'm going to get there from play standpoint. I feel like this is a fight that he has high capability of winning. The line is at -125, Nacimiento -105 for Estevam, so he is a slight favorite and pretty much a pick'em line. It's dog or pass, to be frank, if that's what it is. But they're both favorites, so I'm going to lean Nacimiento. So give me Nacimiento to get this done.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constituted, believe it or not, as the co-main event of the evening for this particular card. At men's welterweight, we have Jeremiah Wells going one-on-one with the Mamba himself, Themba Gorimbo. Wells is 12-4-1 overall, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 39 years old. Gorimbo is 14-5 overall, fighting out of Miami, Florida, but repping Zimbabwe, 34 years old. Like I mentioned before, I can't believe this is the co-main event, even on an Apex card. This is kind of crazy.
It's an apex card that's not so much of an apex predator. It's more like prey to the apex predator.
I mean, my God. On paper, when I first seen this, my brain instantly wanted to pick Wells. I'm on the I'm trying to fade Garimbo as soon as I can. Like the hype doesn't meet the skill level, in my opinion. There's a lot of hype behind Garimbo, but I don't think he's that good. I think he's good, but I don't think he's that good. But then, watching Jeremiah Wells, I'm like, yeah, this is the guy. I think this is the guy I'm gonna pick to fade. Garimbo, finally. I'm gonna walk that one back a little bit. I don't think Wells is the guy to fade him, and for a couple of reasons. One, the man is 39 years old. The offense is very unorthodox, very wild man like. He fights like a wild man. I mean, there's no real straight crazy technique to his striking. The grappling is just him being a fucking powerhouse, going straight at you, taking you straight down and just beating you up. Garimbo is actually the more technical striker here. Garimbo is even the more technical grappler here. He's the more technical fighter. And I can't believe I'm saying that. But it is what it is. And I think Garimbo is going to be able to get this one done. Give me Garimbo here. I think it's going to be a lot of cage pushing. It's going to be a lot of control grappling. And I think this one goes off 15, and I think Garimbo gets the win here.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Initially, when I seen this matchup, I was like, okay, Jeremiah Wells might spark him. But then you really watch the fight footage, you understand what you're watching. Themba Garimbo goes with a lead leg kick, knows how to really go after your lead leg very well. He's done in multiple fights where he started off with that lead leg kick. Jeremiah Wells has chicken legs. He's going to get battered there. Jeremiah Wells punches over his feet a lot, to the point where he's off balance. He's doing that against a guy that's much bigger than him, and I think is a better wrestler than him in a lot of ways too. Like Themba is not, I guess, as strong, even though he's a big guy, but he's more technical. Jeremiah Wells is more of a brick shithouse, more of a powerhouse, right? So for me, Themba, underrated hand speed, gonna be bigger, can grapple. Jeremiah Wells, a guy that punches over his feet, less technical, can grapple, but has been subbed at the UFC level against guys that are trying to get to their wrestling base and not trying to spark everybody. I feel like this is a fight where Jeremiah Wells at multiple points at this fight at a time is going to punch over his feet and then walk into a takedown because he overextends. The same way he did against Max Griffin, who's not a wrestler. And if you're getting taken down by Max Griffin, I feel like there's a lot to be said about that. Not that Max is a bad wrestler, it's just he doesn't go for it. He only went for it because it was the obvious move to make in that circumstance and in that exchange.
He's just begging to be taken down.
and most people will say, okay, like what did Luque do? Luque dropped Garimbo with a short shot. Jeremiah doesn't throw short shots. He doesn't know how to throw tight shots. He never does. Could it happen? Sure. Am I gonna bank on it to happen? No. I think this is Themba's fight to lose. Let's see if he can be known as the guy outside of something besides The Rock buying him a house. Let's see if he can get out of that. But I'm with my brother here. I don't have a lot of thoughts or upside looks to his UFC future or championship aspirations. But this is a fight that I think he can definitely capitalize on. So give me Themba Garimbo. I'll say by submission. I'll say he stops him. I think if he gets his back, he can smash him low key. And Jeremiah, little bit of a muscle hamster, does have like spooky cardio, but that's because he's low volume. If he's forced to work, I think he'll struggle in there. And I think if Themba gets his back, will make him work and then break him. So give me Themba Garimbo, ITD here.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight and is currently constituted the main event of the evening. We have the Mean Machine, Steve Garcia, going one-on-one with the silent assassin, David Onama. Garcia is 18-5 overall, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, 30 years old. Onama is 14-2 overall, fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, but repping Uganda, 31 years old. Not the most prototypical main event, some might say, but, a bit of a weird choice for a main event. But I don't think that stops it from being an exciting fight. I think this fight's going to be a banger. I think it's going to be a back and forth war. I'm going to be picking Steve Garcia for the win. Now, how he gets it done, that might be a little more spicy because, Garcia's been packing guys up, right? And both these guys have, they're coming off of like really good wins. Garcia coming off of the Cater win, Onama coming off the Giga win. But I think this fight, maybe it's spicy, but I think it goes all 5. I think this is going to be a back and forth slobber knocker. I trust Garcia's finishing instincts more, but I think Onama is probably the more technical guy, but I don't trust the cardio as much as I trust Garcia's cardio. This is going to be interesting because I like Onama's wrestling. I like Garcia's jiu-jitsu. I think they both strike hard. I like Garcia's volume a little more, but Onama's a little more technical. Interesting fight, interesting dynamic between two guys here, and I'm gonna go with the guy who is kind of, you know, I'm listen. This is vibes based pick as well. I fuck with the vibes on Garcia. He's got the vibes, and he's riding the momentum here. So give me Garcia here for the win. And I'm gonna go say by decision.
Yeah, Vegas is on your side with this. They have this fight line as a pick'em. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to lean Garcia too. Not with a high degree of confidence, but I feel like he should be the favorite in this fight. I think his performance against Calvin Kattar was so mature, and it showed a lot of growth in his decision-making as an MMA fighter, meaning his fight IQ. Onama hasn't really convinced me. He fought a guy his last fight that you should probably wrestle. He tried fucking around initially and found out and immediately went to the grappling. So credit to his IQ there. But this is a guy that I thought got away with an easy one, got away with one against Jonathan Pierce. I thought Jonathan Pierce could have subbed him if Jonathan Pierce didn't just fumble the bag and low IQ himself out of that fight. Roberto Romero, okay, fair. Oh, matter of fact, no, not even fair. He took that fight on short notice and Roberto was able to land on him bad. I just feel like Onama is a little fraudulent, to be frank. I feel like Steve Garcia is a little bit more of the complete package. I trust his cardio better. I trust his chin better. I trust his striking decision-making better. I trust his precision better. Onama kind of throws a little wildly. They both have about the same power, but I get the line, and I get the line because Steve hasn't been 5 rounds before. Neither is Onama, but I think people are just looking at both of their bodies of work and trying to make an assessment, and I think they're kind of indecisive the same way Vegas is. The same way this podcast is. I'm leaning Steve Garcia, but not with a high degree of confidence. But I have seen him fight guys that are going to look to push the wrestling. He fought Carnelossi, put his ass down. Very high in Carnelossi in this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Won us a ton of, good things. Good things, his last contest.
That's right.
And we should have got doubled up on that because he won via knockout and decision.
That's true.
I'll leave that for a different discussion for a different day.
He ran over the steamroller.
for another guy that's trying to get to the that will push the wrestling at times, and Costa got his ass out of there too. So I haven't really seen someone that's well-rounded try to push Onama, where I feel like Garcia is probably one of the more well-rounded fighters that he's fought.
I think the craziest fight I think I've seen or remember Onama in was the Landwehr fight, where they were just going back and forth. Landwehr was pushing him there, and by the 3rd round, those guys were exhausted. And I think Steve Garcia could put a similar pace on Onama, and I gut feeling I think Garcia is going to have the better cardio, in my opinion.
I agree, and I'm with you here. And the only thing I can give Onama, he has fought a pretty well-rounded fighter in Gabriel Santos. He was getting his ass whooped in that fight, and then Meme knocked him out. So yes, he won the fight, but he didn't look good doing it. I'm just going to be honest with you. So I'm going to lean Garcia here, but not with a high degree of confidence because Onama does have that depth touch, but Garcia does too. And I trust Garcia's finishing instincts a little better than Onama's because Onama has had multiple people rocked amongst multiple contests, and it somehow got dragged to decision. He probably should have stopped Giga because Giga ain't had shit for him on the floor, and he did not. So Garcia, I trust his finishing instincts a little better. I'm not as confident in you in terms of this fight going over, but I understand why you are making that assessment. I think if it's a low over, like a 1.5 or 2.5, it's something that's interesting.
Yeah, for me, it is more of a soul read at the end of the day. If I had to pick a finish, Garcia by sub is probably the way I'd probably lean. But I don't know, I'm soul reading the fuck out of this fight. I think it's gonna go the distance. I don't know. Call me crazy. Yeah,
the only reason I'm a little on that because Garcia has no sub wins. He doesn't. He's a guy that wants to keep it on the feet, but his takedown defense is very good. Like I said, this is a very interesting fight. It belongs on the apex because it's not, a high tier card, or a high tiered main event. But I'm going to lean Garcia for a lot of those reasons. And as well, too, just realize he's also going to be physically the bigger guy in there. So give me Steve Garcia, not with a high degree of confidence. And I think we can move on to boxing now.
And that does it for UFC 110. Our combat coverage moves right along to the sweet science, where we'll be covering a main event featuring 2 women for the WBA World Female Super Welterweight title in Mary Spencer and Mikaela Mayer. Spencer, the champion, is 10-2 overall, fighting out of Colorado but repping Canada, 40 years old. Mayer, the challenger, is 21-2 overall, fighting out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, 35 years old.
Yeah, this is a fight where I feel like Mikaela Mayer should be able to keep Spencer on the outside, work behind the jab. This is going to be the most technical fighter that Spencer has fought. Spencer has been dropped in previous contests against bigger punchers, so I don't expect that Mikaela Mayer is going to find the finish here, but I do feel like Mikaela is going to be able to dance to a decision here. She's not the biggest puncher that Spencer's fought, but she's probably the sharpest puncher. She knows how to move up her back foot. She has good timing. She showed me so much in that Sandy Ryan rematch. Like she improved so much from the first fight. She was able to control her, take away for certain weapons. Spencer's ultimate goal is to land the right hand. If she cannot get the right hand going, she's going to have a hard time landing damage, in my opinion, on Mayer in this fight. She's going to circle to Spencer's right to take away the left hook, because that's what she did to Sandy Ryan, and to take away a lot of the body work that Spencer can implement at times. But if you're asking me, Spencer is kind of like a one-trick pony when it comes to distance management. She's either going to throw the hook or the jab to get to the right hand. And if she can't get that going, she's going to lose this fight. I don't agree with the line being at minus 750. It's a little pressing in terms of, okay, could she possibly land on Mikaela here and drop her? That could happen. Anything could happen in a fight. Am I going to bet on that to happen? No. I think Mikaela Mayer should be able to control this girl from distance. I think she's going to be able to be the sharper puncher. I think she's going to be able to keep on the outside. Spencer, I would love to see what her knockdown props are here for knocking down Mayer, because she does have a decent right hand. But I have a hard time believing Mayer's fight IQ is going to be outshined by this girl's punching power. It's very hard for me to get there. She's been dropped by lesser fighters. Give me Mayer by decision here. I'm going to look closely at Spencer's drop props. Not sure if I'm going to get there to playing them unless they're extremely juicy, just because she is a big girl and has a good right hand. But we'll see as it plays out closer to fight time how these lines break out, because we have nothing available to us. But give me Mikaela Mayer to win this fight via decision.
And that does it for boxing. That does it for Spencer Mayer. That does it for UFC 110. That does it for our combat coverage in general. So before I go, I'd like to send it over to my brother to take us home.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody, if you are enjoying the visual portion of this podcast and you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you next week for episode 121. Peace.